And here we are, is a podcast for professionals, believers, and genuine people looking for genuine conversation. My name is Kia Harris Saknen, and I'm your host. I'll be sharing information about nonprofits, faith, business, entrepreneurship, life, and much more. I'm so excited for you to be joining me, and here we are. Have you ever been jealous of someone? If we're all honest, it would be yes, that you have been jealous of someone. I have been jealous of someone in the past before. Whether it's because of their possessions, their personality, their influence or title, what was the real issue when it came to jealousy? And it may be that some of you are experiencing jealousy in certain situations and need to reflect. What is the real issue here? So if we consider that jealousy is a negative emotion and it could also be described as an action, we can observe why that is there and determine what the next step is. Now, jealousy is not something that you should hold on to. It's not something you should act on either. So today we're going to discover why it's there. So if you're jealous of an individual, is it because of something they have? Social media is a great space to see everyone's exciting moments, but not the reality of the other parts of life that aren't always pleasing or aren't always exciting. So if you observe people online and you're going based off of what you observe on social media, which does not provide the whole story of their lives, not the day-to-day, not the quiet moments, not the moments when they're by themselves and maybe going through a few frustrations, then you have an unclear view of what you think is the reality. So you think you need the things that they have, want the things that they have without realizing what it took for them to get there. So you're seeing that they have a successful business. You're seeing that they have a great marriage. You're seeing that they have certain things that you like to have, a house, and the list can go on. But what was the process for them to get those things? We may never know unless you know that person personally. So the point is that if you're making observations and your jealousy is based on observations, you can just say right there that this is something that needs to be null and void. If you're jealous of someone's personality, why is it that you're not accepting the personality that you have been given? What is it about their personality that you like? Because jealousy also means that you are infatuated with this person or you have things that you like about this person and may even love about them. But it has been flipped to attach that negative feeling, which becomes jealousy. So if it's something about their personality that you like, then you can make observations about, well, is this a characteristic that I can adopt? I'll continue to say you should not be becoming someone else that you are not, but you can take on characteristics to help you in your growth, to help in your leadership without forfeiting your true identity. So maybe that person has charisma. They can easily light up a room. They are just gifted in whatever they put their hands to. How can you enhance your characteristics, your skills, in order to have that charisma of your own? Not the same charisma as somebody else, but a charisma of your own, intelligence of your own. If it's influence that they have that you would like to have, why do you want to have that influence? If the reason behind that desire to have influence is because of notoriety, or you want to have title, position, you want to be seen in a certain light, you want to be praised, there's something there that needs to be changed. Because Influencers, I would say, is glamorized. If you have more than X amount of followers on Instagram or on Twitter, you are an influencer, quote unquote. But let's talk for a bit about the weight of that influence. You are indeed influencing people. And so the lives that are attached to the accounts that are following you or connected with you are being impacted by your words, by your images, by your interactions with them. So if you consider that, you may rethink, do I want that influence? Celebrities have influence. And they also have people in their inboxes saying foul things. They have people in their comments saying things that shouldn't be said online. And so you have to see the different sides of the coin. Influence doesn't just mean having a certain amount of followers, having a certain amount in your bank account. It also means I'm going to carry this weight of influence by my character, by what I say, and what I do. And if your jealousy finally is stemmed from a title, what is a title? It is a series of words. Sometimes it's just one word, 2 words, 3, or up to 5. What is so important about having a title? Does it go back to being seen as being influential? Because I am now CEO, because I've been in entrepreneurship for quite some time now. And I would say titles have significance when it comes to what it means for you as a leader and your responsibility. But me being able to say, I'm a CEO, it's just 3 letters. But when I think about the responsibility that comes with those 3 letters, that's what carries the weight. So having a title isn't going to make you more influential. Having a title is not going to make you more important. It's your character that is going to really shine out of all the things that you can be given: possessions, influence, titles. So if I think back to when I used to be jealous of individuals, usually it was of other girls my age. It was because I was coming from a place of insecurity. I was insecure by myself. I didn't know who I was. So I thought, let me be like this other girl. Let me be like her. And then I'll have the influence, the titles, etc. So during those years, the titles could have been the popular student or she's popular. So also in those times, could hear statements, and you may even hear statements now. Oh, I wish I had that. I'm so jealous. You are so fill in the blank. I'm jealous. Why would you allow yourself to say those statements? Those statements are hindering who you are. Let's think about it. You say you're jealous of someone else, which means you're not taking ownership who you are designed to be. And so you are thinking that evolving into someone else or having characteristics like someone else is going to make you who you should be, when the reality is there's an identity crisis going on. So where did jealousy come from? Jealousy was learned. Jealousy was learned, just like fear is learned. So you watch things as a child, you watch things when you're growing up, and they teach you, or you observe on whatever cartoon or TV show, people acting frightened based on something. And then as children and as you're growing and developing, you observe and you realize the reactions of others towards certain things, and you may decide to react in the same way. So if you see a spider, you may react in a way that is scared because you observe someone else doing it. You may find that you need to do certain things because of what you've observed, but have we taken on the ability to see what we have learned that is good for us and we should maintain it, and things we've learned that no longer have use for us. So if jealousy is learned, then we can unlearn it. If you are following someone and you find yourself being jealous of them, unfollow them. Why do you need to keep on exposing yourself to this negative action, this negative emotion every single day when you encounter their content? How is that going to help you grow? So where are the roots of your jealousy? We talked about insecurity. Insecurity can be a root. Hatred. Hatred is a strong word. In fact, we're going to have an episode on hatred. Why would you say you hate someone? Hating someone, I think we have an idea of what the word means because we can read it in a dictionary, but we don't understand the full gravity of what the word means. And again, it's going to hinder your life in the long run. Other roots, bitterness. Well, they didn't do it like I thought they should have did it. So, well, they didn't include me. So you're bitter. And then the bitterness can become being salty, or what's the word I'm looking for? Being petty. So not only are you getting out of character with the insecurity, the hatred, the bitterness, now if it completely takes over, it becomes who you are and who people observe you to be. Well, she's always saying something negative, so I don't know if I can tell her that. She's petty. I don't know why she's doing this, but how do you want people to observe you? How do you want people to walk away from you after they have interacted with you? Of course, you want it to be in a positive light, especially as a leader. So when we get to the root of these things, we can make changes and we can change ourselves. So with hatred, it may be because you don't have an understanding of why others are so liked easily. That charisma we were talking about. Feeling it's necessary to compete. Where did competition come into your life? Where did you learn competition? Sports. We learn competition from sports. If I think back to some of the shows I used to watch as a young lady, those shows had some competition in it. And it wasn't related to sports. It was more of popularity. It was competition based on getting a guy. So observe these things and then started to become my lifestyle. And then it translated into adulthood. Put a stop to it. I put a stop to it because competition is irrelevant to me because I have an identity. I value myself and I value what has been put in me to put out to help others. So I do not compete. There are other women who have podcasts, other women who have YouTube videos, other women that do similar things that I do. I enjoy watching those women succeed because we can succeed together and independently. And her success or his success has nothing to do with what my success is going to be. Nor does it hinder my success. Nor does it take away from it. Nor does it mean that I have less of the ability to be successful because that other person is in the same space. I can be the light, they can also be the light, and we can shine together. And we don't dim each other, but I'm so glad that we can ignite things together. So take competition out of your mindset. You are not better than. You can be better as a leader, but we are not going to let our heads be filled to the point that we no longer see that there's a mirror in front of us. And in fact, if your head is getting big, you will see it in the mirror. But it becomes, will you observe in order to make the change? So you also need not compare, and need to work on unforgiveness. So I had a video on YouTube. It's up there and it's about self-forgiveness. I do invite you to check out that video. But we also need to forgive others and forgive them as quickly as possible. Because people hurt people. I've hurt people. I get it. I understand. But you want to make sure that you are forgiving so that you can move on. So how do we unlearn jealousy? We can examine what we consume and apply a filter. So if you're watching reality TV shows and you constantly see jealousy going on, how is that influencing you? You may say, well, I just watch it and it doesn't really influence me. My lifestyle doesn't change. But I want you to look at me deeper. And maybe that there's things unseen that are actually being influenced just by watching those shows. We can build up our confidence independent of others' perception and expectations of ourselves. So assumptions, unfortunately, are there. I've made assumptions before, you have as well, but we can make sure we don't go with the assumptions of others, nor do we assume others, make assumptions about others. We continue to be who we are, truly who we are, despite how others perceive us, and despite the expectations of others as well. And expectations of others can be heavy if you allow it to be. Let me explain. There can be certain people in your life that have expectations of you, but you have to make the distinction of, is this expectation that they have of me healthy? Or is this something that's going to distract me? Is it something that's going to make me criticize myself heavily? Is this something that's going to, on the other side, transform me? So it may be that a parent has an expectation of you. For example, a parent may be living vicariously through you. So they once wanted to do something that they see you have the opportunity to do. And so they're suggesting you do it, although your heart is not in it. So it may be that they said, well, when I was growing up, I would have been a nurse, but I wasn't able to do it. So you have this opportunity. I recommend you become a nurse. And your heart is not in it. However, you pursue nursing because it was recommended by someone you trust. So we want to make sure that the expectations of others are in alignment with who we are and who we are to be. We do want to keep on growing. And so parents have expectations in order for you to be the best person that you can be. That is what every parent should want. But it shouldn't hinder what is divinely assigned for your life. If you know you are called to a certain space, to a certain role, then you should be pursuing that versus what that expectation is of that person. So that's just an example. And we also unlearn jealousy by making it a choice. I'm going to unlearn jealousy because no longer has relevance in my life. I'm going to make the choice to unfollow this person because I'm noticing how it makes me react. I notice I get this feeling of angst when I come across them on social media. What is that? What's the real issue here? So, coming from a place of humility and staying humble, we can have these moments where we can say, this is a pivotal moment for me to grow. I've observed this negative emotion, negative characteristic. Now, what can I do to no longer take this on? I can admire instead of comparing. I can flow in my lane instead of competing. I can live my life freely without the burden of unforgiveness. So observe other leaders, learn to appreciate what makes them unique and be confident in what makes you unique, because you're one of a kind. One of a kind. And you dominate wherever you go. Think about that. Say it. I dominate wherever I go. And it's not dominating like you are overbearing and you are abrasive and you just make things negative wherever you go. I'm talking about you show up so that people can truly see you. And they know there is that woman, there is that man that is changing the game in so many spaces. There's that woman with that great personality that she just lights up a room. And I enjoy seeing her light. See your value and the value of others. You can all shine in the same space. That's what I want to leave you with. It's not about having titles. It's not about influence. It's about your character. As we continue to evolve, leader, we're going to continue to examine your character. We're going to get to the root of things, and we are going to make a decision, a choice, to change the things that are no longer going to help our future. I want to invite you to connect with me on YouTube. You'll find a variety of playlists there, one of them being Fulfilling Life Friday, another being for nonprofits. So do invite you to connect there. If you are not listening to an episode that just launched, you are probably finding a video on YouTube that I just released. So I do invite you. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you to connect with me on there. Have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, and I will catch you on another episode.